It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTM, your radio station.
Good morning and welcome to this December 21st edition of City Beat here on 102.9 CHTM. My name is Stuart and my guest this morning is Mayor Dennis Fenske.
Good morning.
Let's start off by talking about what we didn't get to last week with regards to City Council. One of the resolutions that was passed was moving the 2017 surplus from the city budget into various reserves. Could you talk about where the surplus is from and why it's a good thing to put the money in the reserves?
Sure. This is standard practice in regards to if, by the Municipal Act, municipal governments have to provide a balanced budget. So when we submit our budget to the province, it has to be a balance on revenues and operating costs. So in the event throughout the year where there are under expenditures in various accounts, and in our case, most often it's in the RCMP account in that we have 38 officers, but because of a number of circumstances, it could be officers on leave or others that we are underbilled for the 38 officers. We still budget for the 38, and so when we realize a surplus because of an under expenditure, we place it into various reserves. For example, those monies that are underspent in the RCMP go into the Public Safety Reserve for future years because we know there'll be additional expenditures or rising costs for RCMP costs. So that's basically what happens, is that any accounts that are underspent in the budget, that creates a reserve, or in the odd case where we have additional revenue, then that goes into various reserves for future spending or future programming. So from that perspective, it kind of leads into the next question in regards to why is it a good thing to have reserves? Because in uncertain times like we are in right now, and I'll give you an example. Last year, or in 2016, the funding from the province for the CSOs was not continued after May 25th. We were in negotiations with the province, but we wanted to continue operating with the full complement of CSOs. So without impacting the taxpayer, we were able to dip into the Public Safety Reserve and fund the remaining year portion of the CSO cost for 2017 by accessing those reserves. So that's an example of where, if you have money in reserves and things that come up that are unexpected or unbudgeted, you can tap into that rather than having to go back to the taxpayer.
Continuing to talk about a money resolution that was passed at council, there was the 5/12, I believe is what Jenny Krentz, the CFO, was talking with regards to the budget figures that were passed. And there was some confusion within council with regards to this item. Could you explain to the public what it is and why it's important for the city to pass the resolution annually?
Absolutely. And let me say up front, there should be no confusion within council. This is we're completed our third year of our mandate, of a 4-year mandate. And this is a standard practice that every municipality in the province of Manitoba Act has to do. What you have to do is provide expenditures estimates, they're called, for the first 5 months of your operation. We operate a calendar year from January 1st to December 31st. So we must, by the Municipal Act, submit to the province of Manitoba our estimates in each of the categories that we incur costs. So that's what we do. It's an annual resolution that's passed by council and every other previous council before us, so it should really be no surprise to any councillor that this is done.
And then there were some really, I think, positive things coming out from the city in regards to communicating better with the public and letting people know what's going on. They both came from the communications side of things. There was an update to the media policy, the communications calendar, and there was a launch of the brand new website and mobile app. Can you talk a bit about what's changed with those things and why it's important to have them updated?
Sure, that's part of our strategic plan that this council put in place for our mandate, which is 2014 to 18. And part of that, under innovation and the web-based communications, it's improving our communications, and that's what we did with the new website. We basically upgraded it. I want to give a big shout out to our staff who worked behind the scenes to make that happen. The website, if you haven't been on it, again, Thompson.ca, it's a little more user-friendly, it's a little more interactive. There's more opportunity to provide community events within, as an example, within the website, so that when we are a busy community, and a lot of times we'll have events that are overlapped, and just by accident, and it's when you could have had it, maybe should have planned it on a Saturday rather than a Friday because there's another event. It will allow organizations to better plan the upcoming year so that those overlaps don't happen and that everybody can take advantage of the high level of activity that's in our community.
And you talked about the website. I also just want to mention the mobile app as well. That's also, I believe, brand new. Just looking at it, even right now, I mentioned it in the news a couple of days ago. It's really handy. It makes it a lot easier to access services through the city. Like even if you have a service request, if you think there could be a better plow job done on your street or something, you can do that right there. For me, I can have the minutes and agendas from the meetings on my phone, so it's very nice to have.
Absolutely, with that app, and I would encourage everybody to download it to your phones. Everybody, for the most part, has a phone, and it's ready access, so a good opportunity to be more involved with the operations of the City of Thompson.
Moving on to one final thing from the council meeting, there were two of the bigger bylaws, I think, that were passed at the council meeting that going in, I was expecting more discussion going in before the votes. One of them was the financial assistance bylaw, and the other was the Norplex pool debenture. Could you talk about why they're so important, and it's important to get them in place now rather than waiting?
Sure. The financial abatement bylaw has been in the works for the last year and a half. This is one of the City of Thompson's initiative, working alongside Thompson 2020 in the bucket 3 work of business generation or creation or addition to new business or existing businesses. And what this financial abatement bylaw does is that if you own your own building, commercial building, and you're going to expand it, you're currently assessed at a certain value. And so the improvements that you make will increase your assessment. The benefit of this program, which is a 5-year program, is that you'll only pay the tax based on the assessment before you started your renovations. And there's a graduated process for 5 years, and then in 5 years' time you'll pay 100% of the new assessed value. But it lightens the tax load over the 5 years so that you can put that money into the capital development. And there's another scenario for those that are building brand new as well. So there's two formulas in place, and you can go to thompson.ca to find out the details of the financial abatement bylaw.
And then could you touch on why it's important to get the Norplex pool repairs done as quickly as possible?
For sure. It's a key facility in our community that this debenture covers costs of mechanical and electrical upgrades. We also experienced a fire last summer that impacted the electrical systems. And so as we move forward, we'll be looking at further defining the potential use or repurposing of the Norplex pool in regards from a pool atmosphere. It was built in the 70s as a competitive pool. It still serves that purpose, but there's a lot more that it can be done to serve a recreational purpose as well.
And I'm sure it'll be nice to have all those upgrades done in time, if possible, for the Manitoba Games when the entire province is here.
Absolutely.
There's one other item I wanted to talk about. It wasn't dealt with at this past council meeting for the public meeting, but it is something that is a time-sensitive issue. There's a deadline coming up tomorrow for municipalities with regards to cannabis and the legalization, which the Prime Minister said is happening in the summer, not specifically on July 1st. Could you talk about the city's perspective and what's been talked about with regards to legalization?
Sure. Of course, everybody's aware of the federal legislation coming in July 1st of 2018 in the legalization of cannabis. Provincially, the request for proposal for distributorship closes tomorrow from the province. They're looking for distributors in Manitoba. There was also an informal Association of Manitoba Municipalities survey to municipalities whether and to indicate whether or not they would allow cannabis sales in their community. It's a non-binding survey. The province was just and the AMM was just looking for some indications. The City of Thompson has indicated that we wouldn't be opposed to it. We haven't received any applications or any inquiries from that perspective, but certainly if we did, we'd have to look at our zoning bylaw to ensure that a storefront operation would meet the zoning bylaws.
Moving on to snow removal, could you give up the latest updates and maybe an update on when the snowbank clearance will be kicked into higher gear? I know even just driving out, it's sometimes a bit difficult to see around the corners with the amount of snow we've had already.
Absolutely, good point. And from the activity right now, if you're in the downtown area, you'll notice portions of Selkirk Avenue are closed off, so they're cleaning the center windrow. They should be done in the next hour or so, and then Selkirk will open up again. The snowbank clearances, we've had a lot of snow over the last month and a half, and the banks are extremely high, so we are attempting to clear those. But in lieu of that, if there is a particular spot that's someone sees as dangerous, please phone into Public Works at 204-677-7970 and report it so that we can deal with that. And also with those piles, that attracts a lot of kids. They want to do these tunnels and build forts as we did when we were kids, but there is a danger in that of collapsing or cars not being able to see them. So if you see kids tunneling into snowbanks, make us aware so that we can remove that snowbank. The worst thing that could happen is that some of that thing collapses on a child. So make sure that you're well aware of what the kids are doing around the school areas and in your neighborhood.
And then just a quick, again, to talk about the app, you can make those requests. And if you don't necessarily have the time to call in, you can do that all through the app as well. There's a service request button you can press.
Actually, Thompson.ca, correct.
And there are a few events coming up, two of them specifically that we want to talk about, with Christmas being on Monday.
Yep. So we've got the Blue Christmas service tonight at Lutheran Church starting at 7:30. That's specifically for those that are going through a tough time at Christmas. Christmas is always it's a double-edged sword. It's a very happy time, but it also can be a very sad time for those that have experienced losses. And so there is that service again, Lutheran United Church at 7:30. And second to that, I want to again big kudos to the Pruder family for the community Christmas dinner Monday at noon at St. Joe's. There's no charge, everyone's welcome, and once again the Pruder family is hosting and organizing for this event, as they have the last number of years. And if you want to donate or help, you can call Harley Pruder at 204-939-0831. Great cause, good job on the Pruder family.
The Winter Games are coming up even faster now that 2018 will be here in just over a week, and that means it's weeks now instead of months until the Games.
Absolutely, and again, the call is for volunteers. There is a process in place, and at this point, I think for the holiday season, take your time to enjoy your family and friends. But early in the new year, if you haven't signed up, please go to Thompson.ca and follow the links to the Manitoba Games site where you can volunteer for that. There's a bit of a process you have to go through, but we encourage you to do that. Also, as normal, every Friday is Fan Gear Day, so everybody that's at your work site, please encourage to wear your gear from the Manitoba Games, which is also a good Christmas gift. Segue into the sales you can order online, and I believe there's a storefront in the City Centre Mall as well, so make sure you take advantage of that. And last, the hashtag is Play North for the Manitoba Games. So again, as you said, it's rather than months away, it's weeks. We're into the March 4th, March 11th final planning stages, so encourage everyone to support the games when they're here.
And just a quick update, that storefront, unfortunately, I was just talking to Bruce Krentz, the chair of the Communications Committee. That's not going to be open until the new year.
Okay.
So I believe that's January 13th that it opens up, and you also have not only chance to purchase the gear, which I just picked up mine on the weekend. It's fantastic gear, but you can also sign up to register there. There'll be iPads and computers and people there to help you out if you're not the most computer savvy person.
Excellent, good correction.
And then finally, it is the Christmas season. The parties hopefully will be wrapping up for the Christmas season, but that just leads into New Year's, and that means Operation Red Nose is going to be critical.
Absolutely, and I just want to, on behalf of the City of Thompson, wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. It is a festive season, but and if you are going to imbibe, please take care, be responsible. If you can call a friend or make other arrangements to get home, but if you don't have those arrangements, there's Operation Red Nose that you can call into as well to arrive safe at your home. So again, on behalf of the City of Thompson, I'd like to wish all the residents of Thompson and the surrounding area very safe and happy holidays.
And that number for Operation Red Nose is 778-8111, and they will be in operation tomorrow night and Saturday night from 9 p.m. until 3 a.m. And that's all that we have for City Beat today. Thank you so much for joining me, Mayor Fenske.
Thank you.
For CHTM, I'm Stuart Walter.
City Beat will be back next Thursday morning at 11:30 with more news about Thompson.